and welcome to the Scale Modelling Cafe. My name is Jamie, and welcome to part one of the new project, which is this. It is Eduard's S-199 Mezek, which I think is Czech for mule, because that's how it handled apparently. Now, you can hear the boxes rattling. That is because that's a load of effectively empty sprues and other bits that are being cut off because I've actually finished this model. This I'm doing the wrong way round, clearly. Traditionally, I would do this part one before I've even started the model and describe and show you some of the aftermarket bits I'm going to use and my sort of vision for the end game of what the model is going to look like. Now, a little bit different because I had a problem with my lav mic on the other one, on the other video, the original one I shot, and it had this high-pitched whistling noise that I just, no matter what settings I tried, I just couldn't get rid of. Apparently, it's a known problem with the kit I'm using. So I got rid of it all in post-production, which meant it was really, really quiet. Actually, in hindsight, I decided to reshoot the video. So I have here a completed model. In fact, I have two completed models. The subject of the video is going to be this one, the Israeli one. And the other one, it will appear in the kind of final reveal on the turntable spinny thing, but that I've done as a photo build, and I'm probably going to send that off to a magazine. Right, sorry about this, I'm kind of thinking on the fly because this is so unusual doing it this way around. Right, what I would normally do is I would normally show you what aftermarket bits and pieces I have used, but what I will do is just very briefly just mention what I used on this one, because this is going to be the subject of the video, as I've just mentioned. So the aftermarket bits on this were some master barrels, gun barrels for the MG 131s on the top and the 151s in the gun pods, and you also get, as a Billy bonus, you get the pitot tube. I've used the Brassin resin 3D printed resin exhausts and also the Brassin wheels for this one. For the Czech one, I've just used the MG 131 barrels that go in the cowling, and you get the pitot tube. In hindsight, because it's so small, I think you could probably get away with the kit exhausts, because they are really small, they are kind of tucked away, and at kind of normal viewing distances, I don't think you're really going to see it. So if you didn't want to use them, I don't think it's a must. If you want to use them, obviously by all means go and get them. They're not very expensive, a few pounds, and yeah, horses for courses very much on that one. The wheels, likewise. I think because it's so small, and to be honest, when I look at the two here, the difference is not that large. A little bit more detail on the resin ones, obviously, but I think the detail stands out more on that one because it's got desert weathering, so there's more contrast on the wheels than there is with the Czech one. I've done a load of dusty effects with pigments and stuff. So again, I think straight from the box, this would be a brilliant project. The gun barrels, I think also, certainly for the 131s on the top, you can very much get away with. They're hollow on the kit, and they'd be absolutely fine. It's pretty much worth buying that set just for the pitot probe alone, because it is so fine. It's beautifully done. So yeah, my recommendation would be buy it and use the barrels if you want to, but you wouldn't have to. But definitely the pitot probe makes a big difference. If you are going to use the gun barrels, though, you do have to open up the holes a little bit more, and that's going to be much easier doing it before you put the cowling on. So you'll see in the video that actually I do glue the cowling on, and then I actually have to go in there with a file and things and try and open up the hole. And I forgot that lesson when I did the check one, so I ended up doing exactly the same thing, which was a bit of a pain. But it would be much easier just to drill it out from the inside, from the reverse side, and that way you're gonna, not risk sort of damaging any of the detail if you're going in from the front. The reason why I decided to video the Israeli aeroplane and not the Czech aeroplane was I've sprayed all the markings on the Israeli aeroplane. If you're thinking of trying it for the first time, if you can get a set of masks, mine were custom made by Nige, friend of the channel. It's well, you can see here, it's literally just white and blue with a red stripy tail. So there's only 3 colours. And the other, two of the other markings, actually, they don't have the red stripy tail anyway. So it's just white and blue. And it's very simple. So that's why I decided to film that, because I think it's a little bit different. And actually, it's really easy then to preserve all that beautiful detail that you would have seen on the sprue tour if you've gone and watched that video. So if you can spray the markings, then yeah, I would highly recommend that. But I used the infamous, I guess, Eduard decals on the Czech machine, and actually I think they work really, really well. The colours are a little bit desaturated on the roundels, on the red and the blue. They're a little bit dull. There's been some talk about the actual printing quality. You don't see that on these decals unless you look really, really closely. On the model, the printing issue is not an issue at all. So I would say that's a complete red herring on this. Where it does fall down ever so slightly is, like I say, the colours are slightly muted. But actually on 72nd scale, I don't think that's so much of a problem. I did remove the carrier film from the main markings. I couldn't remove it from the stencils. But I did use Ammo of MIG setting solutions, which are stronger than, say, Microset and Microsol. In fact, Drew, a very good friend of mine, he just uses Microset, doesn't use Sol at all, and he's not had any problem with just tickling the side of the carrier film and then just peeling it off. Not a problem. I actually had to use a bit of tape, which is a bit nerve-wracking on the main markings, just to lift it off, and then I could peel it off. The other reason why I chose the desert aeroplane is to do that desert weathering, which I hadn't done for a little while. I thought that might be quite useful to show on camera and how I went about that. The Czech aeroplane is dark green, and against the black background, I think that something may have been lost on the video actually. So hence, that is why I went and did just videoed the the Israeli aeroplane. That's another reason. And that really is pretty much it. So a bit of a kind of topsy-turvy video, part 1 and part 2. What I will do is, like I say, I will put some photos of the finished model at the end of this, so you can see exactly what it's going to be like at the end. I'll do that for the Czech quad as well, even though that's not going to be subject of the video, the in-progress videos anyway. Like I say, it will be on the spinny thing at the end, so you can see that. And I guess we just really ought to get over to the bench and start off with part 2 in the cockpit. So join me on that one. Again, apologies for the first video if you've seen that and it's been a bit rubbish. But there we go. I've invested in some new kit, and hopefully this is going to be much, much better. So thank you very much for tuning in. See me in part 2 for the cockpit. Bye-bye.